We're going to take a look at our day 63 bell ringer. And it says draculosis is a sex-linked recessive disorder. It causes extreme sensitivity to sunlight, which can be fatal. And this is an actual disorder. So what is the probability of all the offspring that a draculosis male, so a male who has that recessive, sex-linked recessive disorder, draculosis, has a baby with a homozygous normal woman? What's the probability that they will produce a carrier daughter? I'm going to predict the phenotypes. So, we'll put it square here. And it is sex-linked. So he is affected by it. It is carried on his X chromosome because it is sex-linked. So that tells us that he has an X chromosome. That contains that recessive trait of having draculosis. So a little d there. And then he is a male, so he is XY. Okay. This is a recessive trait, and he only has one of those alleles. But because he is XY, he doesn't have an X chromosome over here to counteract, with a gene on there to counteract that recessive allele. He doesn't have another X with an allele over here. So that recessive allele will show up. There's no dominant allele to cover it up, because he doesn't have an X over here. He has an XY, so anything over here on the X that is not part of the being a male characteristic, the Y just contains those male characteristics. So anything over here that does not match up with something on the Y is not going to be counteracted. He only has one X chromosome, so that, even though that's a recessive allele, it will still show up in his phenotype. It says she is homozygous normal, so she has that dominant normal sensitivity to sun on that one, and a dominant normal sensitivity to sun on this one. So this offspring will get her normal X with a dominant trait. And then look at this X from Dad with that recessive trait. Okay. And then this one will get the X, this X from Mom. And it will get this Y from Dad's. Oops, that's right. And it'll get the Y from Dad. So this one's going to be a male child. Okay. This one's XX, so this is a female. She's a female, and she has an X with that dominant normal sensitivity allele. And then from Dad, she got the X that was carrying that recessive allele for the draculosis. But because she has an X over here with that dominant allele of being normal sensitivity, she does not have the phenotype of having draculosis. She's normal, but she is carrying that allele on her other X. So she has the potential of passing this gene onto her offspring. And if it's a male and she passes this X on to a male child, then her male child will have that characteristic. If she passes this X on to a male child, then that male child will be normal. And this one will also get the dominant X normal allele from Mom. And this will be another female because it's going to get that X from Dad. But it'll be carrying that recessive draculosis allele. And then this child would get that normal allele X from mom. And this child will also be a male because it will get the Y from dad. There we go. So let's stick that in there. That's what that will look like. Okay, so what is the probability that a Draculosis male and a homozygous normal female would produce a carrier daughter? So carrier daughter, both of these daughters would be carriers. So there would be, we're going to put it this way. We're going to put there will be a 50%, maybe we will. There will be a 50% chance of having a daughter. And then we'll put 100% of the daughters will be carriers. Okay. We expect about a 50-50 chance. Roughly half we would expect. Just seems that way. Half of the children would get an X, half of them would get a Y. So about a 50-50 chance of having a daughter. But if it is a daughter, that daughter is definitely going to be a carrier because the only X that dad can pass on is that X with that Draculosis allele. So every one of the daughters will have one of those alleles. They're not going to have the disorder because mom was homozygous for being normal. So she gave both daughters a normal allele, which will cover up that recessive allele. Okay. If mom had been a carrier, if there was a little d here, then this daughter would be a little d and a little d. This daughter would have Draculosis, if that were the case, if mom had been a carrier. And then this son would have had Draculosis if mom had been a carrier. But mom was homozygous normal, so she's going to give everybody a normal X chromosome. So none of their offspring should show the disorder, but the daughters will be carriers. So predict the phenotypic ratio of these scary offspring. I'm going to say 2 out of 4. We would predict 2 out of 4 or 1/2 of the offspring will be carrier daughters. And 1/2 will be normal sons. That would be our prediction based on the Punnett square genetics. And that's that for our bell ringer today.